You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, yeah.
This is a CBS News special report, an update on the bombing in Oklahoma City. Good afternoon from CBS News headquarters in New York. I'm John Robertson. In just a minute or so, we're expecting President Clinton to enter the press room of the White House to give us a briefing on what he knows about the bombing, to bring you up to speed on what has happened today just after 9 o'clock Central Time in Oklahoma City. An explosive device, which is being described by officials as a car bomb, went off in front of the federal building in downtown Oklahoma, shearing the north face off of the 9-story building. Some 500 federal workers were believed to be inside at the time that the bomb went off. So far, there are 20 people confirmed dead, 17 of those children who were housed in a daycare center on the second floor of the building. There were reportedly some 40 children inside the daycare center, 20 of them reportedly still unaccounted for. The death toll is bound to go higher since some 40 federal workers, as well as those children, are left unaccounted for. About 300 people were brought into the hospital this afternoon following the explosion, injuries ranging from superficial to severe. So far, no reports of fatalities among those who were brought in. And the FBI has issued a nationwide alert for 3 suspects believed to be driving in a van. Here now, the president.
The bombing in Oklahoma City was an attack on innocent children and defenseless citizens. It was an act of cowardice, and it was evil. The United States will not tolerate it, and I will not allow the people of this country to be intimidated by evil cowards. I have met with our team, which we assembled to deal with this bombing, and I have determined to take the following steps to assure the strongest response to this situation. First, I have deployed a crisis management team under the leadership of the FBI, working with the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, military and local authorities. We are sending the world's finest investigators to solve these murders. Second, I have declared an emergency in Oklahoma City, and at my direction, James Lee Witt, the director of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, is now on his way there to make sure we do everything we can to help the people of Oklahoma deal with the tragedy. Third, we are taking every precaution to reassure and to protect people who work in or live near other federal facilities. Let there be no room for doubt. We will find the people who did this. When we do, justice will be swift, certain, and severe. These people are killers, and they must be treated like killers. Finally, let me say that I ask all Americans tonight to pray for the people who have lost their lives, to pray for the families and the friends of the dead and the wounded, to pray for the people of Oklahoma City. May God's grace be with them. Meanwhile, we will be about our work. Thank you.
How many short people?
This has been a tragic and heartbreaking day. I can tell you this: the FBI and the law enforcement community will pursue every lead and use every possible resource to bring the people responsible to justice. The FBI has established a command post in Oklahoma City, and it is in 24-hour contact with FBI headquarters command post and with the Department of Justice. 4 FBI special agents in charge have been dispatched to the scene to provide 24-hour operation of the command post. The FBI has sent 4 evidence response teams and explosive ordnance teams to Oklahoma City. 5 of the very best FBI agents experienced in this type of investigation are arriving in Oklahoma City, as have bomb technicians from Boston, Chicago, Miami, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. 13 members of the Rapid Start team will be entering data as the evidence is collected. 50 more agents are available for arrival tomorrow, and more will be used as needed. The FBI and federal law enforcement have received superb cooperation from local authorities in Oklahoma City, and the federal law enforcement agencies are working together. The ATF has sent 2 national response teams and a mobile command center. It has 3 explosive technicians and 3 laboratory technicians in Oklahoma City, and it is prepared to send 20 to 25 more personnel tomorrow. The Secret Service is also sending explosives experts. In addition, the Oklahoma National Guard has been deployed to assist in control of the area and the evacuation of the injured. The United States Army has deployed the 61st Ordnance Detachment with a robot from Fort Sill, Oklahoma. The Tulsa Police Department has deployed 2 bomb technicians, 2 dogs, and a robot. And the FEMA is playing a major role in aid and assistance. We cannot tell how long it will be before we can say with certainty what occurred and who is responsible. But we will find the perpetrators, and we will bring them to justice.
Have you put out a bulletin seeking some particular suspects, and what can you tell us about that? There are reports that there are descriptions of a couple of people who are seeking.
What I can say about all evidentiary issues and all leads is that it would hinder the investigation to discuss any action that we are taking in pursuant to the leads, but we are pursuing absolutely every shred of evidence available.
Surely, if people are to be on the lookout for someone, isn't there a way that you can describe those people?
Sounds from everything you've said as if you've concluded that this was a terrorist attack of some kind. Can you confirm that?
I would not characterize it as such until the evidence is in, but we are pursuing every piece of evidence with whatever motivation behind it.
Do you have any statistics on the casualties?
We have some statistics on the casualties, but they are increasing every moment. What we are trying to do is to make sure that we pursue every lead. What we have been told is that there were 550 people assigned in the building. Only 250 had been accounted for before I came in. There may be as many as 100 to 250 more people to account for. The casualty figures are climbing. 100 victims have been treated. 6 children who were in the daycare center have been confirmed as dead. And we are just pursuing absolutely every lead that we can.
General, have there been any more threats against any other federal buildings across the country?
In a situation like this, there are sometimes terribly misguided, horrible people who create copycat situations. We've responded in each instance, and so far nothing has materialized.
Reno, was there any indication, any warning that anything like this could happen? Because there are conflicting reports that, not specific warnings per se, but warnings that there might be terrorist activity in the period after March.
Again, I can't comment on any specific lead or any of the evidence that we have developed.
Do you think there's any tie-up with Waco?
Ms. Reno, the current crime bill that the President has signed includes a death penalty provision. Assuming you do catch these people, will you go for that? 18
U.S.C. Section 844 relates to those who maliciously damage or destroy a federal building. If there is death, if death occurs, the death penalty is available, and we will seek it.
General Reno, any more indication of where this device exploded?
Again, that would be commenting on the evidence that is being developed, and we would not want to do that because to do so could possibly hinder the investigation.
General, if other governments are...
General Reno.
Generally, I'm sorry, on the importance of this event, are we crossing a new threshold of concern about security in this country when even Oklahoma City is not safe?
I think that this has been a matter of concern for all Americans anytime you see acts like this around the world, and I think it is a matter that has got to be pursued with all vigor. I can't tell you whether it's a crossroads. I can tell you that any time something like this occurs, we have to do everything possible to ensure that the people who are responsible are held accountable, and that we do everything we can to prevent a future of recurrence.
General, have you decided whether or not this is a coincidence?
General, what cautions would you urge other people who work in federal buildings or live near them to take?
We are working with the General Services Administration, the United States Marshal Service, and the FBI to take sensible precautions, and the federal employees who have been involved have just been wonderful.
General, have you decided whether this is just a coincidence that it happened on the second anniversary of the Waco siege?
Again, we are pursuing all leads. We cannot tell exactly what happened or who is responsible, and it would be better not to comment until we can conclusively talk about it.
General, has anyone called to claim responsibility for this? Any credible group or organization?
Again, I don't think that I should comment on the evidence, because to do so would hinder the investigation.
Confirm it was a car bomb.
Again, I cannot confirm any evidentiary lead that we are pursuing, because I think that would hinder the investigation.
General, if another government or governments are found to be involved, would military retaliation be appropriate? Will it be carried out?
I don't think that we should deal with what-ifs. I think we should make sure that those people who are responsible are pursued and brought to justice.
Can we have a last question, please?
General, the government of Israel has offered its help because it has the vast experience with this sort of thing. Do you know if we're accepting that help?
We will, of course, rely on any additional resource that can possibly be involved and be utilized appropriately in bringing these people to justice.
Thank you very much.
Stern Attorney General Janet Reno saying that she will indeed seek the death penalty against those responsible for the bombing. Also that a number of federal special response teams from various agencies, including the FBI, the ATF, and as well the U.S. Army, have been sent to the scene. Among the teams that have been sent to the scene is the team that cracked the World Trade Center bombing case just a little more than 2 years ago. President Clinton responding to the bombing today, saying it was a cowardly attack on children, one that the U.S. will not tolerate. He has declared a state of emergency in Oklahoma City and sent the director of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, James Witt, to the scene. The president's words: "We will find these people responsible. Justice will be swift, certain, and severe." Also expected at some point in Oklahoma City is a press conference with Bob Ricks, who is the special agent in charge of the FBI in Oklahoma City, a name who you may well remember from 2 years ago on this day when the Branch Davidian compound burned down. Bob Ricks was the chief spokesperson for the FBI and one of 3 special agents in charge of the Waco situation. And as well, Ron Norick, the mayor of Oklahoma City, expected to deliver an address on exactly what the situation is there. Here's what we know of the situation in Oklahoma City. 9 o'clock this morning, Central Time, a bomb went off, estimated by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms to be a bomb somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 1,200 pounds of explosives. That would put it in league with the bomb that went off a little more than 2 years ago at the World Trade Center. We heard from a congressman on the scene that, and this has not been confirmed by any official agency, but from a congressman on the scene, that traces of ammonium nitrate have been found. If that is the case, that would probably put it in the same category as the bomb that exploded at the World Trade Center, as it was based on ammonium nitrate, ANFO, a mixture of fertilizer and fuel oil is what that bomb was constructed of. So far, the death toll is 20. 17 of those 20 people confirmed out of Oklahoma City, though the Attorney General would not confirm it out of Washington, were children. Another 40 to 200 people are missing, as you can expect with all of the chaos in Oklahoma City. Finding out who has been accounted for and who is still missing is somewhat of an arduous process. Rescuers have been going through the building inch by inch, calling out to people who are trapped in the building. They say that it is a frustrating process because they can hear people who are trapped within the building, yet they cannot reach them. KWTV, our local affiliate who provided these pictures for us all throughout the day, had a report of one person who was trapped in the building who was undergoing a double leg amputation so that he could be removed from the wreckage. Janet Reno, the Attorney General, would not comment on it, but we hear out of Oklahoma that the federal authorities there have issued an alert for 3 suspects believed to be driving in a brown pickup truck that may or may not have been rented out of the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. 2 of the 3 suspects have been described as Middle Eastern men with dark hair and beards. The driver of the pickup truck that is being sought has not yet been identified. So what is happening now is that the federal response teams have been dispatched to Oklahoma City. They will sift through the wreckage. They will sift through the evidence. They will try to put together exactly what happened at 9 o'clock this morning there. The Attorney General would not confirm it again. She is playing her cards very close to the vest, but it is believed that it was a car bomb that went off this morning. Again, the explosive power being somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 1,200 pounds of explosives. According to Mayor Ron Norick of Oklahoma City, it left a crater some 8 feet deep in the pavement out in front of the federal building. And as we saw from the pictures, certainly it exacted a catastrophic toll on all 9 floors in the north side of that building. The Pentagon declared an emergency in Oklahoma City to help speed up federal relief. Helicopters from Fort Sill, just outside of Oklahoma City, have been brought in to help with any medical evacuation that may need to take place, or evacuation of people from the top of the building should they not be able to make it down through the floors. There you see what's left of the building, and if you're saying to yourself, those pictures look awfully familiar, they look very much like the bombing of the U.S. Embassy in Beirut back in 1983, and you remember that it was a truck full of explosives that was set off in front of that building that caused such devastation. There, a young child being brought to a triage center. This was the scene all morning in Oklahoma City as people who were wounded by flying glass, shrapnel, shards of metal were treated and then brought to hospital. Some 300 people have been treated at local hospitals. The Attorney General said that as many as 250 people are still missing. The death toll, which usually climbs quite quickly in cases like this, has been agonizingly slow to click up on the meter, probably because the rescue workers are having such a difficult time getting through the building. We heard earlier in the day from a veterinarian who works in the Department of Agriculture office inside that building, who said that he was working in an area of his office where he does not normally work. He usually works closer to the outside of the building. He was a little further inside. He said he was knocked to the ground, completely disoriented when the bomb went off. He had been working with 7 other people. He said when he got up off of the floor, he took a look at what was left of the office building. All he saw was air. There were only 3 people around him. The rest of the 7 workers, he has no idea where they ended up, but probably in the basement. We want to go now to Police Chief Sam Gonzalez of the Oklahoma City Police, who's giving a press conference in Oklahoma City.
The building located 200 North West 5th Street was almost completely destroyed by what we believe was a car bomb. The City of Oklahoma City, the State of Oklahoma, and all of the federal agencies have combined our efforts to handle this incident. The area hospitals, our area IMSA service, local medical personnel have been working relentlessly all day long at the site, getting people out of the building. The Oklahoma City Police Department has the lead responsibility for perimeter control and for ensuring our streets stay accessible for emergency equipment. We're utilizing officers from our police department and from numerous local agencies, officers from the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, and tonight we will also have members of the Oklahoma National Guard in to assist us with perimeter security. All of the search and rescue efforts are being coordinated by the Oklahoma City Fire Department, and any questions related to that should be addressed to Chief Gary Mars of the Fire Department. The FBI is the lead agency for investigating the incident, and any questions relating to the investigation should be addressed to the Oklahoma City's FBI's Special Agent in Charge, Bob Ricks. Mayor Ron Norick is with us, and he will speak to you in just a few moments about the other city efforts, what we're doing. We also have Governor Frank Keating with us, who will tell us about the state's involvement. Mayor?
For the record, I'm Mayor Ron Norick. The community is a little bit in shock, as you can imagine right now, but I appreciate very much their efforts. Immediately this morning, I got on the news media, requested that people do not come downtown so that emergency personnel and emergency vehicles could come down. Our citizens responded ably, and we kept the lines open. We are setting up a phone line that will be operational within a few minutes, and I want to give you the numbers. and it's for any people that were in the building at the time of the explosion. We need them to call. The numbers to call are both at my office across the street. It's 297-2424. The other number is 297-2345. Again, those numbers are 297-2424 and 297-2345. Any people that were in the building at the time of the explosion, we need to have contact with those individuals. So if they would please do that. The Oklahoma City Police Department is in charge of the perimeter area, as Chief Gonzalez said. The FBI is in charge of the crime scene. We will secure the area, which it has been secured, and we're making sure that all medical personnel and that the rescue efforts of the Oklahoma City Fire Department and the other fire departments. I want to thank all the communities from around the country who have called and volunteered their services, their rescue squads, dog teams, a variety of things that some are on the way, some we have told that we don't need right now, but we do appreciate that. We have interlocal agreements with all the communities in central Oklahoma, which there are some 23. All of those police officers and fire departments are all involved in support activities or in immediate rescue activities. The area will be cordoned off for several days. It is going to take some time to get through the debris. All the gas lines have been cut off. The natural gas lines have been cut off in this particular area until we determine whether we have any major gas leaks. At the time, we are not aware of any water leaks or sewer leaks that we have, but the gas lines have been turned off until we can get more information. I requested from the governor this morning that the National Guard be sent in. He immediately responded. That was about 11:30 this morning. The National Guard will be coming in to assist with security tonight at approximately 6 o'clock. I would again encourage that citizens from the area, people that are not involved in the rescue effort, do not come to the downtown area, do not impede what we are trying to do to determine if we have any more survivors in the properties. So it's important that they do that. The National Guard will be assisting with the police and the Sheriff's Department to make sure that we keep the area secure, also for the investigators that will be brought in by the FBI. At this time, I would like to introduce Governor Frank Keating, who will make a few comments.
As governor of the state of Oklahoma today, I took specific action in response to this evil, despicable, outrageous act. First, I ordered the Army and Air National Guard to cooperate fully with the local authorities and the federal authorities to share resources to provide emergency assistance as well as crowd control assistance. And these individuals will be on duty until such time as they're no longer needed. Secondly, I instructed the Department of Public Safety to utilize the full services of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol and other personnel to assist in emergency assistance as well as in crowd control and property protection. Third, I declared a state of emergency in Oklahoma City with a view toward seeking to coordinate all of the state and local response to assist the federal family in not only assisting the injured, but also identifying and quickly apprehending those evil individuals who are responsible for this outrage. Fourth, our emergency team will be in place around the clock to assist. We will do anything we can as a state to participate in the successful investigation and resolution of this event. Lastly, I want to thank President Clinton. We spoke this afternoon on the telephone. He indicated to me what he announced shortly ago about the involvement of ATF and the FBI in this case, the bringing in of outside experts to assist us in this state in investigating and solving this terrible tragedy. I do appreciate his willingness to help, and certainly I'm grateful for the involvement of the state, local folks. I also want to thank the people of Oklahoma City, for their outpouring of courage and commitment and compassion for those who have been injured. It really is remarkable, the lines that have appeared in front of the Red Cross and in front of hospitals to give blood. We intend to honor the dead and honor the living by finding out who did this and never permitting this conduct to recur.
Oklahoma's new Governor Frank Keating facing the greatest challenge of his young administration as he tries to cope with this disaster and the devastation in downtown Oklahoma City. We'll keep on following this story for you. We'll have more details coming up on your local news this afternoon, as well as a full report on tonight's CBS Evening News with Connie Chung live in Oklahoma City at a CBS News special report tonight, 8 o'clock, 7 Central. Until then, John Roberts, CBS News in New York. Good afternoon.
This has been a CBS News special report.
¿Y por qué se atendió ayer?
¿Cómo?
¿Y por qué se atendió?
La muchacha esa.
Está bien, está bien. Ay, nomás sepan que se bien. No le recuerdo el nombre de Julieta.